Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna be recording another, not speed scope, that's what I've been doing the whole time, but another mental health update slash process slash, whatever I feel like doing. So the last time that I did an update, it was somewhere in October last year. It's now August. So I've got a lot to catch up on, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened, so there is a lot that I could update on. I'm just gonna go a little bit in a timeline according from what has happened then to what's happened now, and maybe give some of my insights of what I've been going through and what I've been doing to try to help myself. So I basically remember, because I edited the video very recently, so I do kind of remember where I ended up. I'm also kind of looking at my journal here to kind of have a little bit more of a underlining or like a red line throughout the story. Basically what's happened over the last 8 months, I guess, is I went to school, obviously, and I've finally started to gain a little bit more confidence within my art and within my ability to do schoolwork, and that's been very nice. I had retakes for all of my exams for the courses of the first semester, so that was quite a hit, right? That was quite a hit because I really did do my best in that moment. That was kind of crazy, and I remember that at the last video I was talking about how my dissociation was still showing up within my relationships, and I mentioned me feeling some type of way about my roommate, and actually it only got worse from there, and it was kind of a situation where I felt very underappreciated, and I tried opening up to him about that multiple times, and it just didn't seem to get through, or at least I thought that we were talking things through and that everything was going well, but that was apparently not the case in hindsight. In that moment then, during the exams of the first semester, I was living at home again. I moved back here, which is my home, and I stayed there for the exams to try and let everything cool down a little bit, just so I wouldn't have to divide my attention over 4 different households, and that I could stay here as my base, and then I could go to Marie, my girlfriend, when I wanted to and when I could, and this and that, or that she could come to me and everything. So that did let a little bit of steam go off, because that was a month and a half where I was gone, and I did try to have multiple conversations with him to try and make things work, but it never really seemed to help. It seemed he listened, but then his actions would not go through with that. At the same time, me and Marie were getting more close with an ex of his that they then got together again and then became exes again, and that also made me kind of realize some things about how the relationship with that roommate was really not chill to me, and that I didn't feel good about it. And I really easily tried to make things work, I really did. But then, so we're in March now. It seemed that everything was going well. I moved back to the dorm after the exams for this school year, obviously. And for the first 2 weeks, it went very okay. It wasn't amazing, but I didn't necessarily need it to be outstanding or whatever. I was fine with just having a pretty superficial understanding of one another, and I was completely fine with that. That was what it was, and I had peace with that at that moment. And so just some time went on until all of a sudden we had an argument about trash bags. which seems entirely ridiculous, and I'm not gonna really get into like the specifics of it, but basically what it came down to is he then opened up to me a lot about how he was feeling and how he had been feeling, and that in all of the conversations that we'd had previously that he hadn't been honest with me. And so then I felt really like hurt and stabbed in the back a little bit, I guess, because I was like, yeah, I was trying to be honest with you and you weren't being honest with me, so like where does that lead us? What's going on? I had made it very clear previously that I do not, that it doesn't work really well for me if we don't resolve like a conflict the same day, or at least easily, or not easily, but like in the near future, or like it really weighs down on me and I just cannot function normally if that doesn't happen. Basically it feels still to me now, even though it's like 5 or 6 months ago now, it still feels like he really neglected that part of it, because he would promise that we could talk afterwards and then he didn't because he was too tired or something, and I was like, I'm tired too, I don't care, I just want to talk this out, you know? So that was frustrating. But then basically what it came down to is I got so nervous and I couldn't calm down that I basically called my mom and I was like, can you come get me? And she did actually come get me. She's an angel. And that seemingly didn't like make him realize that he'd gone too far. And I tried saying while we were still talking and while we were still having the argument, that like I did apologize as well. Like honestly, maybe I don't even know how much I should get into it and explain it and air this out, because I feel like it's not really my place. But also it happened to me, so maybe it is my place. Anyway, so in the middle of the semester I moved back home because that whole situation stressed me out so much that I literally couldn't deal with it. And I was really lucky because my schedule actually allowed me to be able to do that, because I do live like an hour away from my school by train or by car. So I was incredibly lucky that my schedule was like later in the day, so that I didn't have to take the train at like 6 a.m. That was really nice, because I know that if I'd done that I wouldn't have gone to school all that often, just because it would be such a hassle to get there. So obviously me being home, like it changed a lot of things for me. It put a lot of things back into perspective and it allowed me to like reflect on my life a little bit more. Obviously there was a big bout of like isolation that came along with that. Like I do have a big family. I mean, there's like a difference between having your social need met and then like feeling isolated from your friends, right? But basically I just moved back and I was like, I'm gonna get the rest of my stuff later, because I left with like just in a car, but I had a bunch of furniture still there. And then I was just studying at home, like studying here, going to class, and then coming back. It was obviously very like emotionally like a tough situation, because I was like, I want to give him another chance, but then also I want to respect myself and my emotions at the same time. Honestly, it took me a really long time to be able to put into perspective like what had happened and how not okay I was with it, because I really tried to convince myself that it was like not that big of a deal. Like not necessarily that it wasn't that big of a deal, but that I could deal with it and that I should give him another chance and this and that. And then I slowly over like a couple of weeks of like reflecting and journaling and like talking with people, I realized how much I was actually point blank not okay. But what the fight basically came down to was that that he was valid in everything that he said, but that the way that he said it was so disrespectful and so neglectful of my emotions that I just couldn't get over that. Like I needed an apology in order to be able to move on from that in any kind of capacity. Like it was really not chill the way that he mentioned those things to me, and the way that he was not honest with me before, and the way that he just neglected to address any of that. And I realized that basically I needed to actually hear him be aware of that that's a thing, and that he would be willing to to be embarrassed and say like, oh yeah, I fucked up, you know. I want him to I wanted him in that moment to like say your worth, like coming out of my comfort zone over. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like the longer that I was together with my girlfriend, the more that I realized how like not cool I was with how my roommate was treating me at the time. I realized that when we had conflicts, we really tried to resolve it afterwards, and even if I was not chill, because that's another thing. I realized, like, I went into our relationship thinking that I was the more healthy one, or that I was like the more mental health aware one, or like the more self-aware one. You know, I think you know what I'm trying to say, right? But the longer that our relationship went on, I realized I actually have way less conflict resolution skills than she does. And it's actually like a big change. Like, I didn't realize that whatsoever about myself. I didn't know, that just was never taught to me. And then I saw how she handles conflict and I'm like, hold on, you live like this? It can be like this, like it can be not as hard as what I experienced. It's very particular. But then that contrast with how any type of conflict was handled with my roommate was so stark that the more that time went on, the more that I just lost my patience and lost any empathy. But then when I moved back home as well, my mother had started therapy, but not like cognitive behavioral therapy, like EMDR. When I came back again, like in March, so there was 2 months left to the school year, I got back where before I wasn't, and I tend to push back on her, right, a little bit, like on any authoritative figure. I always push back a little bit. I want to know why specifically so that I can understand, because I'm of the opinion that like one of us is right and you just need to convince me who it is, right? Like, I'll think I'm right until you prove that I'm wrong, which is not necessarily a good way of going about it. I'm very aware of that, but it is how I experience that, and I find it so hard to let go. But, and also to put it a little bit, give it a little bit of nuance, I do give them then the opportunity to actually explain, and I am open, right? But I am of that thing of like, one of us is right, there's gotta be a way to figure out like who it is, right? So I push back on a lot of things, right? And she is now going through this whole kind of re-traumatizing thing where like she's experiencing everything again and putting everything into a new perspective and reflecting on so many things, so that she's finally like standing up for herself in a more meaningful way than she was ever able to do before. But she doesn't know yet, or she didn't know yet before, how to do that in a nice way. Like, she was radically trying to choose her because of her therapy and everything, which is good, right? That's good. Her choosing herself and her finally standing up for herself, and not like, you know, her standing up for herself is good, but the way that she went about it was a little less tactful than maybe was good. And it was really unfortunate that those two things happened at the same time, because we would frequently like get into fights, and it would always come down to the same like kind of routine of fight. And so it was really unfortunate that I came in that moment when she was trying to radically like stand up for herself, and I'm somebody that pushes back on that kind of thing, specifically because of the way how she handled it. So yeah, no, that was a really big thing of like, that it's super unfortunate that kind of happened, because she's standing up for herself, but with like the lack of grace that you kind of develop over time. So yeah, that's been really tough to like navigate. And on that note, I'm gonna go to the same therapist that she is. I know that's kind of like not looked at as in a good thing, but I honestly don't mind, because I'm looking at it in this way. So I had an intake session, which is not necessarily like a proper first session, but it was kind of just like to meet each other, to see what kind of vibe there was, and I kind of did like a really quick run through of my life, of like what my teenage years were like and everything. Teenage years, as if I'm like 35. I'm turning 21. However, my teenage years are over. I know I'm not a teenager, but it feels wrong to not call myself a teenager, you know? Yes, I'm an adult, I know, but you know, there's a little bit of overlap. I feel like there's a little bit of overlap. A young adult. True. Fair enough, fair enough. Me playing charades with my girlfriend while I'm making a video. Anyway, also, I'm so sorry if you've been annoyed by the fly flying around in my room. Me too. Me too. Yeah, no, but I had a session with her and I really enjoyed the way that was going, because I've been to like 2 therapists before and 1 psychiatrist who told me that there was nothing wrong with me, even though we talked for like half an hour. That was fucking crazy. Watch my previous mental health updates, because it was wild. It was actually wild. And I do go into the whole story there. That was fucking crazy, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, no, but I really am looking forward to that, to like going to the same therapist that my mom is going to, because I feel like it will bring a lot of nuance to the conversation, right? Like if the therapists understand who my mom is as a person and what she went through as a kid, like I don't need to know everything that my mom went through as a kid. But if my therapist does, that might like trickle down and make her be able to make some connections that I might not be able to with the information that I would be able to give her. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be something really powerful. I'm probably gonna be able to start up in the autumn, which is really nice. And I'm really looking forward to like what kind of thing that will give me. Also, the reason why I'm going to therapy is not necessarily because I don't feel like I have control in my life, or I'm like spiraling out of control, or like my mental health is shit or anything. It's not necessarily shit, right? But I wanna move through some trauma that might be holding me back in a certain way, or like process some events that happened in my life, or be able to gain an extra perspective on everything. Because when we talked about it, it was very much like, okay, yeah, so you do clearly, when you explain these things, you do have a pretty good degree of dissociation, right? Not severe, but like a solid amount, right? More than your regular healthy person, right? But it seems like you're very self-aware and that you have a lot of coping mechanisms in place that allow you to step out of that, which is really good, and which is why a lot of people go to therapy in the first place. But she said like, okay, so like half of the work is basically already done. Now we're gonna move through those traumas that trigger your dissociation or your fight or flight response or something, so that they just don't get triggered anymore if there's a conflict, which is really nice. Because I've been when I have a conflict with Marie specifically, I've come to the realization that I'm just gonna trust her like unconditionally. Because I've realized if there's a toxic person between the two of us, it's me. It's me! It's me. Specifically, and she's like charading again to me. She's like, no. Don't care. In conflict resolution, I'm definitely the one that is worse, and it's fine, right? That's not bad. I just think it's true, right? So I've come to just radically trust her, full stop, no doubts. Just be like, okay, I'm gonna get over this, and I'm gonna trust her, because I trust her judgment more than I do mine in that moment, just because of the mental state that I might be in that moment, and I might not even realize it, right? That's been really big, because that allows me to basically just trust her, and that will always circle back to me being able to get out of that fight or flight. And also because I feel like she just genuinely listens to what I have to say, and she genuinely is trying to understand what I mean, and also that she'll actually listen to my feedback on like how we fight. Like there was a couple of weeks ago that I was trying to open up about something, and then she got upset I was trying to say in that moment of like, yeah, but I need support right now, and I feel like you're making it about yourself, and I need help right now, and I can't help you get out of it because I need you first to show up for me so that I can then show up for you. And she actually listened and was like, actually, you're completely right. I did make it about me. That wasn't chill. You go ahead first. And that was really nice. Of like how we're just able to adjust our things. And also it's really nice to see that every time that we've been in a conflict, it's always gone from like that it takes so long to like resolve. Like I remember the first time that we had a proper conflict where I was dissociating in a like severe like in a proper way. It took like a whole day for me to be able to get to the point of like, hold on, but her feelings are more important than whatever my brain is telling me. Like, you know, it took me a whole day from getting into a fight to getting out of a fight, while now we've resolved it so much, or we've gotten so good at getting to know how we work together that we can do that whole thing from like in an hour, that within the hour I've gotten upset or she's gotten upset and that made me upset or whatever. Like I've gotten into that trauma response to me being able to be out of the trauma response, and us to then still be able to talk about the conflict and like streamline a little bit about how we would want next time to go, or like talk about the actual like incident that happened that made us have that conflict, and us to be able to with a clear mind be able to talk about the initiation of that thing. It keeps getting quicker, and that's so lovely because it's so exhausting to have like fights that just seem to always stay the same, which is definitely what I experienced with my roommate, where like the situation, like I would bring something up and then they would get upset, and like then they would need to leave, and then it would not be resolved, and then I would feel bad, and then if I brought it up it would be like I ruined the mood or whatever. I'm not trying to ruin the mood, I'm just trying to bring up something that is weighing on me, and I feel like I was never wrong with that, but it took me so long to actually be like, hold on, I'm not gonna take this. But yeah, so that kind of happened. And also within that time that I was gone, me and Marie, again, I mentioned it earlier, we got closer to like a mutual like a friend, and honestly being able to just talk about it with somebody who also has experienced it is super nice. Now, also something else, now I'm gonna talk a little bit more school related stuff. So in the second semester, I did have more courses that kind of aligned a little bit more with what I was actually doing, and or like that aligned with what I liked a little bit more than what I did previously. Like the 3 courses that I did in the first semester that I passed none of them. I felt lost because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, and then in the second semester I started to really feel like I was getting good at what I was doing, and that boosted my confidence so much. And because I felt I had fun, and because I was doing what I actually wanted to do, I had so much more energy to be able to spend on it too, and it was really good what I was doing. Like there were some projects that I did that were really, really good. I'm thinking of one in particular. In like 2 weeks, actually perfectly 2 weeks, I'm gonna be moving in with my girlfriend, which is so exciting because I remember editing the video and it was like, oh yeah, we've made the decision to move in together, and now it's like, it's here. So it's so exciting. We've been preparing stuff so much, and like planning and like everything, because again, can I remind you, we've got 3 houses that we need to get stuff out of, and it needs to fit into one apartment. It's gonna be a hustle, it's gonna be a hassle too, it's gonna be crazy, but I'm so here for it. You know what I'm the most excited about? Having a washing machine. I'm gonna have a washing machine in what's technically a dorm, which I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky, and I'm so happy as well about that. It's gonna be so nice. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, because again, I mentioned like the isolation that I've been experiencing a little bit. It's gonna be allowing me again to have my own place that I can actually invite people to, because it will be way easier to access, and I'll be able to have people over again, and I'm so excited for that. And also I'm just super excited to be able to live with Marie and have that be our foundation, instead of like having to spread my attention over all of these different people that I have to go see. Like, I'll actually be able to see both my mom and my dad on a regular basis, because I won't have to spend the weekend go to Marie, you know. And neither of us will have to do that. We'll just be able to do that properly, which is really nice, and I'm so looking forward to how that's gonna go. I see that I made a brain dump about the Billie Eilish album Hit Me Hard and Soft, and how that inspired me that I wanted to create more profound and personal art, art that means something. I've kind of let it be on the back burner for a little bit now because of the retakes that I've been doing and how much time that's been taking up, but I really do still want that as like a thing, because I discovered in the second semester that I thoroughly enjoyed like the design process, even though the course was not about designing, but I did design a character and I really liked it. Like, I designed two characters that I both kind of liked. One of them was really good, and I just liked the vision that I had and how I made it come to life. That was super nice. I also, so on a whole different note, I started keeping track of when I was having headaches. I think I did it for like a month straight, and then I went to a festival and I didn't do it, and then I've been kind of slacking off. But I did it for a month straight, and within that like month and a half, I had 16 days where I had a headache back to back to back to back. Yeah, and it's not like just a small like headache that kind of just happens or whatever. It was like proper headaches that I had, that I was like, oof, like I couldn't do work properly. And I realized 16 days in a row of having headaches every single day is I don't think that's normal. I don't think that's healthy, and but I don't know what to do about it at the same time though, because I thought it was from my glasses, but then I don't know, or that it's maybe from screen usage or whatever. I have no idea. Oh my god, living at my hometown, or like in my home, has been able to get me back into spirituality like properly for the first time since I moved out for college, which has been so crazy, honestly. I didn't even realize that I full on like lost that, just because like the fact that in my first dorm I wasn't allowed to have incense or candles, so that kind of already made some of my daily things like disappear. But then also my friends were over so often that I felt put on blast, or like because it's such a personal thing that I just felt indeed very open in a way that I was not necessarily comfortable with, not because I don't trust them, but because it's just so personal. Like, it's so personal and it's very vulnerable as well. And then in the second dorm that I had, I also didn't really like to do it because it felt weird and I felt judged. Maybe more so like that my thoughts were that, and not necessarily that I was actually being judged and like anybody actually said anything, but it was so tempered already that there was not even anything for them to really say anything on, right? But now that I've been home again, it's allowed me to step into that so much more again, and I feel like my spirit is like alive a little bit again compared to before. And it's actually made me want to like spend money and time and energy on that, and it's helped me so much with putting certain things into perspective and like just a little bit of mindfulness and everything. And I really have been enjoying it, just that freedom that I didn't realize that I lost, just to have that back. And also again, I'm gonna be grateful again for my relationship, where like I do feel comfortable practicing my spiritual routines, or like doing my stupid little rituals, or you know, whatever it is that I feel like doing. I don't feel as open or as vulnerable when she's there, because I know that she'll accept it. Like, if she wouldn't have liked it, she would have been gone already. You know, we're locked in, too late, you're not getting out now, you know? That's kind of the vibe of it. And she will also join me with that, you know? She's open to it, which I really appreciate. And not just in a ooh, that looks cool kind of way, but like I'll actually listen to what you have to say. And if I see it, if we're watching TikTok on my phone, then there will be like witch talks that come on, and she'll be like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And then I'll be able to actually explain, and it's so nice for somebody to say like, what the fuck is this? But then still be able to listen. That's the big caveat, because before people would be like, what the fuck is this? This is weird, and I'm not gonna listen to what you have to say or the explanation of what it is. And it's a game changer. Also, if there's any feedback on these videos that you guys would like to give me, or like anything that I could do differently to make this a little bit more interesting, I will definitely try to do it that way. I am willing to cut out more of the ums if it bothers you, but for now it's been like a specific choice to keep those in, because I really wanted it to feel like a sit down where we just talk, or like where I just talk to you and I just yap, you know? So yeah, I feel like that's kind of everything. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of the mental health processes. Today it is the 19th of September, and what I talked about in the previous episode has already happened. So the biggest first thing that I want to get into is obviously that we moved, me and Marie moved into our new dorm situation. It's kind of an apartment, but it's also a dorm, but you know. It's really nice, it's really spacious. We've got more than enough space for us to host events that we would like to do and have just a nice time with friends and family. It's been really nice. I also properly started therapy, and in one of those first sessions, I guess, I was just talking a little bit about my life and about how it was going, because my intention with therapy was to work through trauma, and not necessarily because I'm like in a crisis right now, or because I'm not feeling good, or because like something is going bad, or you know, stuff like that. First of all, that has been great. Second of all, when I mentioned like how different being here feels to how it felt in my previous dorm, she was able to give me some insights that I didn't even notice before, and it felt really good to have like a therapist who actually like paid attention in that kind of way, because before there was nothing that a therapist told me that I couldn't have like seen on a TikTok or something, you know, or like on a generic Google search. Nothing was really groundbreaking in any kind of way, or like special in any kind of way. But that was because it was specifically about chores. That the way how we're dividing stuff now feels a lot better, just better in general. And she was like, okay, so what was your belief around chores earlier? And I was like, yeah, that I'm the one responsible for them, that I'm the only one responsible for them. And then she was like, okay, and what's your, like, how does that differ now? Or like she kind of put it the other way, the opposite way, where it was like, how does it feel now? And I was like, yeah, they're a shared responsibility. And then she was like insinuating, like, put it in contrast with how it was before, where like it felt like just my responsibility. It was really nice to be able to gain that kind of insight, even though it's not particularly groundbreaking or anything. Like, me realizing the difference on how that feels is not particularly life-changing or anything, but it's a lot more, it's already more in-depth than what previous therapists were able to get after a couple of sessions, and now it's already there and within the first proper session, so that's already good, I think. And she also gave me some homework to kind of write to my previous self with the view
mind that I have now, which is obviously so profound, which I've done before already, but it's gonna be probably different to integrate it in a kind of way, because I know she has a very somatic kind of way of going about it, like very trauma aware kind of way of going about it. I'm really excited as to how that's gonna go. Now also I had my retakes that I was doing and I passed them. Like the ones that I did, I passed anyway, which is really nice. Of course, I wish I got a little bit more on one of my particular assignments because I did put a lot of work into it, but you know, it's fine. And I've started a new series. By the time that you'll be seeing this, it will have been out for a week now, which is just gonna be me practicing just 2D art, nothing too crazy, just, you know, whatever I'm feeling like. And I kind of tried to approach it a little bit different, and I'm really looking forward to how that's gonna go. I'm quite excited about the new school year because not having any assignments has left me feeling kind of like I don't really know what to do with my time, especially also because I'm not particularly in between jobs, but like practically I'm in between jobs because I used to work in a restaurant, but I'm more often now here at the dorm instead of in my hometown, so it's quite hard to like do it. And it was basically like a call-in schedule, so it's not guaranteed that you can work there, so it's annoying to work there. So I'm kind of trying to find something here at my dorm now in order to just save up some more time. So yeah, that's been happening. Now also maybe a little bit more about how this dorm has been feeling, because it's honestly so nice. Our lighting setup, that might be super specific, but in my other dorm, we had a cozy light setup, but you could barely see. But here we have a cozy setup and you can still see, you know, so it's quite nice to have that and be able to have that. We have a proper couch and a proper TV and proper desks and a proper kitchen, and it's really crazy but it's also funny having a full kitchen. But I'm still cooking on my rice cooker. I don't know if I even ever got into that. I probably did. Knowing me, I probably did get into that. But I don't have a big enough pot that I'm like used to cooking in now. And considering I always make portions for around like 4, I make 4 portions at a time, even though we're only 2. But like our pots are not big enough because the ones that I had before got stolen, which is really stupid. I still have my rice cooker, still trusty. I still regularly cook on there, even though I have a full stove now, so it's a little bit silly, but it's also fine. Since the 1st of August, nothing much has really happened. The last couple of days have been a little bit weird, but I think that was mostly due to my period and not anything else. So I don't want to like be so worried, and also because I'm like not able to do any work that I find particularly like, I don't know, I don't have anywhere to put my time that feels like it's productive, right? Like I did like film a video and everything, and that was nice and stuff like that, but it's not the same as working for school because YouTube is still not that much of a commitment for me because it's, you know, it's not monetized. I'm not gonna lose anything if I don't like do anything here. Like there's nothing lost. Also, I just remembered in my video of the speed art that I made last week for you guys, I was like, okay, I'm gonna address why there haven't been any uploads, and it's basically just because we moved. Like the couple of days before we moved, we were out of my setup, so I couldn't film anything because I didn't have my camera, didn't have my microphone and everything. And then we actually moved, and then it was a complete mess here, and then I didn't feel really comfortable filming here, which is a little bit weird because I've got this whole thing of like, oh no, I want to be transparent and like true and this and that, but then I still stop filming when there's like a little bit of a mess. I should probably do something about that. I also had a thought about that yesterday because I wanted to film, but my hair was too greasy, and then I was like, no, I don't want to film. But then I had this thought of like, no, I'm here to make art, not to look pretty. That like sentence I had, which was nice. So I've been trying to do something about that a little bit to just first of all get over that, but also make sure that my space is always in a way where I can and feel able to film, which I like because I like filming and making content, and I enjoy it as a pastime as well. So yeah, the lack of uploads, that's that. Like I moved, and then the next day I basically had an exam, and then I was doing that, and then we went away, and then there was vacation and this and that, just all these kind of things that all of a sudden made me realize I haven't posted in like a month. So I'm not trying to continue that. I feel like having regular school will definitely help with that, because specifically the speed arts videos are gonna be quite easy because I know I'm already gonna have an assignment to like regularly do anatomy practices and everything. That's already gonna be something that I have to do anyway, so I might as well film it, and I'm gonna try to keep it as a thing of like, doesn't matter how messy my room might be behind me, I'll film anyway. It will be like a more true thing. But if it helps me to keep my space clean, then I'll take it, you know. Like I won't complain about that it gives me a certain incentive to clean. It's just been honestly a blast just living here with my girlfriend. We bought tablecloths, really aesthetic ones, and it's super nice. Just really these small things that, I don't know, just makes it feel a lot more homey, and I really have been enjoying that very thoroughly. I genuinely think I don't have anything else to say. Maybe it's because I've been in a little bit of a weird mindset for the past couple of days, and I'm just forgetting other things that have happened. I think that is it then. So thank you so much for watching. I think I'll round off the video here. Yeah, I've got exciting stuff coming. Okay, I'll see you in the next video then.